because so many people have adopted the conspiracy theory at this point.
It's a Soprano family? Yeah, they killed him and they put him in the front lawn. What's so hard to understand about that?
They're basically like cult members. The defense has been able to use social media to push out their story, their supposition, and suppress the facts of the case.
Then made several statements to her indicating, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him.
And make a hero out of a murder suspect.
It's windy, so I drop him off. He goes up the driveway and approaches the side door. And as I see him approach the door, I look down at my phone.
No matter what fact or detail comes out, they're gonna say it's part of the conspiracy.
Karen Reed ran him over.
I know you keep saying that, but you don't have any evidence of that.
You keep saying that because that's the fucking truth.
Says she watched him go to the door, put his head inside, then nothing.
They're able to intimidate witnesses without technically intimidating witnesses.
How you got my number? You're a creep.
They're able to spread misinformation.
Didn't see him go in the house because he ran. Because it was real quick. Because he ran because it was cold out.
He must have ran real fast.
My client has no criminal intent. She loved this man. She is devastated at what happened.
Karen, did you hit John?
That makes sense to a lot of people. What doesn't make sense to anyone
That does not make sense.
Party, but never saw him walk inside.
Because he's dead.
One more week until she faces a jury in the murder of John O'Keefe. Now, over the past year, we have seen one of the ugliest acts of any murder defendant I think I've ever seen. They use social media influencers, award-winning journalists, who has broken the case of the Fupa Slug panhandler at the Burlington Mall, who has a plethora of articles using Fupa as an adjective, because the fat upper T area on women is a big story that award-winning journalists are covering. This isn't journalism. This is straight up bullying and harassment. And his minions just take it upon themselves to harass anyone that he directs one of his blogs at. And in this case, in the Karen Reed case, since she's claiming that literally everyone in the state of Massachusetts, the National Guard, medical examiners, the Canton Police Department, state police, literally everyone should be attacked. So the Turtle Riders, I mean, that's their favorite thing to do, is hate people. Have been in full throttle this entire year, implicating innocent people, harassing people, spreading lies on the internet. But I think it's quite clear that Turtle Boy knew that he was lying from the very beginning. I mean, we've seen the text where he's arguing about the 2:27 a.m. Google search and how Lucky Laughran not seeing the body there doesn't make any sense, right? Karen's coming back with, oh, we had to they had to figure out how they were going to kill him. This whole conspiracy theory has been madness from the beginning. Like, why are people believing this? I initially saw the articles from Turtle Boy and I got sucked into it and I was like, oh my God, this person's being framed. And I read a bunch of his articles and thought that I had the facts and made a few videos about it. And then I got access to the probable cause affidavit. And boy, was I surprised, because the way that it was described to me through the articles that Turtle Boy had written was that it was Jennifer McCabe orchestrated this whole thing. She's the one that did the Google search. She's the one that gave all the statements about Karen Reed, saying, I hit him. You know, I had no idea that there was like all these other witnesses, including the victim's niece, including first responders at the scene, including, you know, medical personnel, emergency room staff. And like, I was just like, wow. I mean, that was my first inkling that maybe this really isn't a cover-up. And I mean, the Google search statement that they made, I think, is a very strong argument. But as soon as you kind of look into like what a DB wall file and how timestamps from DB wall files have never been used in any case ever because they're not reliable, once that piece of evidence is put into question, the entire thing falls apart, because Nothing else adds up. I mean, Jen McKay brainwashed her into thinking that she hit him. Like, that is just insanity, first of all. Karen Reed went around saying, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him. You know, nobody made her do it. She thought she hit him. Her attorney thought she hit him. They thought that for a year, right? Until all of a sudden they come up with this conspiracy theory. You know, they say that Scanlon came and dropped a dime on the Alberts and said that there was a fight inside the house. But then we heard Turtle Boy's recording where Scanlon is like, who's Colin Albert? What are you talking about? So we know that was a crock of shit.
Yeah, how did you know Colin Albert was in the house?
Who?
How did you know Colin Albert was in the house?
Probably through you. I don't even know Colin Albert.
So that whole thing is out. So no one dropped a dime. No one said there was a fight in the house. Like, that's all bullshit. Okay. And then the dog bites. And I never looked at that and was like, yeah, that's definitely dog bites. I kind of questioned it, but as soon as you look a little closer, it doesn't make any sense. It looks mechanical. It looks like motion. And the fact that just one side of his body is scraped up like that, I mean, what else could have done it, right, besides a car? Because it was something came and hit him, scratched up his arm, gave him impact on one side of his body. And so if you think it's his right arm, so obviously his back was turned, the car hit him, you know, his head went into it, his head smashed, and I don't know if he was bent over, I don't know if he's standing up, and I think that will be something that they'll have to explain at trial. But there is no other explanation for how half of his body is scraped up like that. You know, people are saying, oh, it's inconsistent because there's no lower extremity damage. She just sideswiped him, which, because the arm scraped up, that looks like what happened. She hit him from behind, along his arm. When people get hit, when they're walking, they rotate into the car. So the car like spins them into it, and that's how you smash your head. And then your secondary injuries are when you hit the ground, the frozen ground. So we don't know if he landed on his face or right side up, if he was able to flip over on his back, which that's what it sounds like. It sounds like he probably was hit, he went down and was blacking out and rolled over onto his back. And the whole thing is that he could have been saved. Karen Reed knew what she did. She knew that she hit him. It's very obvious. And once we see her phone data, people are going to be shocked. The Free Karen people are going to be like, so, the fact that they're still clinging on to this thing at this point, when literally every single piece that they believed has been refuted, no dog DNA, no dog bites, nobody dropped a dime on them saying that there was a fight inside the house. Nobody said there was a fight inside the house. Karen Reed's the only one that says that, right? The whole Canton library footage, look at the route. There's no reason for her to even drive by the library. She wasn't going down Washington Street. Washington Street is where the bars were located, but it wasn't on the way to John O'Keefe's house. So them asking for the Canton library footage, it's a joke. It's to deceive and to make things look suspicious. And they've been doing it for a year now, and it's time that people wake the hell up. She's going to trial. There's a mountain of evidence. You know, she pulled over in that park. Another big thing is 1241. Almost every creator, when they create a timeline, they're saying, oh, she was home at 1241. We know this because, how do we know this, right? First of all, we don't know this. The reason that everyone thinks this is because Yannetti said it in court one time saying, oh, she left a voicemail. We could hear the garage door closing and her feet and her high heels walking on the garage floor. That's how we know that she was home at 1241. They had her phone the whole time, and he wasn't like, we know she was home because that's when her phone shows that she was at John O'Keefe's house. No, he didn't even say that. We're supposed to rely on him to tell the truth. With her cell phone data at their disposal, they could have been like, we know she was home at 1241 because her phone shows that she got back to John O'Keefe's house at 1241. But no, instead they're going to say, oh, because we heard a voicemail when the garage door was closing and all this shit. Like, are you people stupid? So every creator that I see that has made a timeline where they say, oh, 1241, she was definitely home because Yannetti said so, this guy's been lying through his teeth the whole time. Just like Scanlon named Colin Albert when he doesn't even know who the fuck Colin Albert is. I mean, Jesus, people. We don't know the timeline, but we know that it's favorable for Karen if they can say that she's home at 12:41 for whatever reason. But the fact is, his last steps were at 12:30. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's when things went down, right? And then a lot of people are saying like, oh, right when Ryan Nagel and the friends were in the car, that's when she hit him. People are purposely saying this dumb shit. Obviously, he didn't get out of the car until after Ryan Nagel was gone. People are just so committed to this conspiracy that they say the dumbest shit. I thought they were actually after the truth, but, you know, to be honest, I think that the majority of true crime creators are just after the conspiracy. They're not after any truth. They're after clicks and likes, and they don't give a shit about justice for anybody. And it's pretty sad. But the fact that the Canton Library footage, allegedly, it only records when there's motion, like when there's a car driving by. It wasn't on the way from the Fairview Road home to John O'Keefe's house anyway. So it doesn't even matter if it's missing or not. She wouldn't have drove that way. She drove that way in the morning because she was trying to retrace her steps, you know, trying to look at the body or something. But it's becoming blatantly obvious that she's guilty as all hell. And people that are still defending her at this juncture, the feds have literally scrubbed through the evidence and found nothing, no evidence of any kind of cover-up. No evidence that he was ever inside the house. No evidence of a dog bite. There's no other options. Because they're saying his injuries were inconsistent with being hit by a car. Inconsistent. Inconsistent does not mean that it didn't happen. Inconsistent meaning that pedestrians, when they're hit, usually have lower body damage, usually have bruised legs. From his injuries, it looks like he was hit from behind. The car sped up, hit him from behind, hit his arm, smashed the glass, and when you're hit with a car that's speeding, you rotate towards the car real fast and you hit your head. There's always skull fractures in car accidents. People are like, oh, there wasn't that much blood. He was laying on the ground. He was soaked down to his boxers with blood and vomit. What is wrong with you people? She knew she did it. Let's see her phone data. People are just trying to like cling on to this conspiracy so there's something to talk about, I guess. It was epic when Brian Albert's lawyer was like, Brian Albert and his kids and his wife are not subject to the investigation. And Turtle Boy was like, oh, what? All shocked. And then the next morning he gets on and he's like, we knew this. We knew that they weren't the subject of the investigation. Really? Really? Did you? Really? Really? I cannot believe that anyone is listening to him as if he's telling the truth. He does not tell the truth. He's been caught in a million lies in this case, specifically in this case. But even in the past, in his past stories, he goes back and deletes videos because he says wrong things and makes incorrect accusations all the time. I debated with him in August. Mind you, I didn't write 300 blogs on the subject, and he's telling me, oh, no one saw the car drive away.
Nobody saw it driving away either.
I think it says...
Not a single person can say they drove, not a single witness says they saw it driving away.
He texted the victim hello again and then observed the black SUV drive away.
And I'm like, no, I think I read it. Did he even read it? He's saying that a Ring camera picked her up and that's how they knew she was home at 12:41.
They're at home on the Ring camera footage at 12:41. It's undeniable that she went by there.
They don't have her on the Ring camera footage. She deleted that.
No, they have that. She did not delete anything. What's your evidence that she deleted Ring camera?
Oh, and the Waze search. No, they haven't given up the Waze. They didn't put that in Discovery.
Adam Lally says that. The Waze does not say that.
Do we have the Waze?
No, because they haven't entered it into evidence. They've shown nothing.
When he's on a text from April talking about the Waze, he's going to deny that it ever existed. Like, oh, the defense never got the Waze because they're holding back all the discovery. That's not a journalist. That is a scumbag. Wake up, people. Justice for John O'Keefe is coming.
Where was I in the story?
We cannot rely on trooper Michael Proctor. Conflicted Michael Proctor.
You know, I'm a sucker.
He named Brian Albert and his nephew Colin Albert as potential suspects.
She felt she struck something. She said, Dad, I think I struck something.
Because he's dead.